The following stories are inspired by documented paranormal encounters. Some locations and identities may have been changed to protect the people involved. These stories may be disturbing for younger audiences, and listener discretion is advised. This podcast is based on true events.
Hey, I'm B, she, they.
Hi, I'm Brandon, he, him.
Hi, I'm Dalia, she, they.
And this podcast is based on true events. Well, we're back. We are recording on a Sunday today, so these next 5 episodes, we're going to kind of like just be getting to the point. Skirt. So, fuck, what is it?
Vibe check.
Vibe check, that's it. As soon as I hear go fast, I freak out. So like,
Yeah. Okay, Sonic.
I'm the anti-Sonic.
Get this man a chili dog stat.
I'll go first. So vibe check. I've got a lot of things going on, a lot of things brewing. First up, something I was talking to B about and something Dalia's known about. I'm not sick, but I've been very snotty like the past week. And like a little bit of dry throat, and I'm pretty sure it's because they've been ripping out walls at my work, and like the particles and stuff have been getting in my lungs, and it's trying to get out. Mm-hmm. So if I sound a little weird, or if I like, have to take more breaks to swallow or whatever during this recording session, these next 5 episodes, that's why. I'll issue periodic reminders in each episode. However, either way. Also, what else was there? Oh yeah, Super Sentai just ended recently. Like, all of it. The last episode of Goes Yuger just, like, it came out, like, a week or 2 ago. And, that's it for Super Sentai, at least for the foreseeable future. They're moving on to... Nice. They're moving on to something called Project Red, which, like, every season is going to be something different. This first one, they're doing, Space Sheriff Gavin Infinity, which is bringing back a Metal Heroes series from back in the day called Space Sheriff Gavin.
All right.
Funny enough, the dude who plays the original Space Sheriff Gavin also played 2 different Rangers on 2 different teams in Sentai. I believe he was like Battle Kenya and like Dingy Blue, maybe.
Huh.
And like Battle Fever J and Dingy Man.
We don't talk about
Our paranormal audience is learning about Super Sentai.
We don't talk about Battle Fever J. That's all I got. Who's next? Vibe checks.
Man, I am encroaching on Dalia's comfy cozy territory. Let me tell you why. Dalia and Brandon can see why.
I can see why. Very, very seeable why.
So, you remember a few months back where we got B's Mothman Mania, for my birthday? My boyfriend Chris, he got me this Mothman poncho. And I am sitting here, legs crossed, covered in the poncho with my little ears and my little red eyes up on my head.
It is adorable.
I've had half of a joint, my belly's full. I am fantastic.
That's awesome. So we've got a competitor for Dalia's cozy this
There's no
round.
competition.
Oh
in the
no,
cozy.
I don't want to compete.
There's no competition in the cozy. You just gotta live by the cozy.
Yeah.
That's the
vibe with
opposite of what cozy means.
Yeah.
No,
Who
my bad.
taught you what cozy means?
We got to get Brandon on the cozy train now too.
I guess
I'm
so.
cozy.
You ain't as cozy as Dalia or me.
That's fair. I don't know
To be
if
fair,
that's,
Dolly's got a big comfy
yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if that's possible. I don't know if any of us can reach cozy levels of Dalia.
Yeah, she's the cozy queen.
Right.
I am
Period.
but a simple disciple.
Period.
I'm but a simple disciple of Moth and Queen.
Yep, moth queen.
Phenomenal. Is it my vibe check now?
Yeah, go for it.
That was not English. Vibe check. Like glep. Okay, so I'm good. I'm also excited for many things happening. I'm starting to stream soon. Yeah, so I'm streaming is it via or via? Via. I say via all the time.
Via la vez.
Oh no.
Hey.
Anyway, via a VTuber model. So I'm very excited to start doing that soon. So I'm in pretty good spirits.
That's another thing is like her getting back into VTubing has really got me back into VTubing. So I've been
what?
Nope. No. Her getting into streaming has gotten me back into streaming. I haven't streamed since like 2021 or 2022, and I kind of miss it. And I've been redoing a lot of my stuff to match more of my vibe now. Like I've redone my screens, my profile pictures, everything. I actually had Dalia make my profile picture, and it looks beautiful. And I've been making my own emotes, and they're coming out really good because I am not an artist, and so that's very surprising to me.
Oh, they're adorable.
I love them. They're very nice.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Well, that's all we've got, right?
Yeah.
Are we ready to get into our first story today?
I'm ready.
Via me.
Shut up.
There are many things that go bump in the night. From the souls that stay behind in a house curious about its new occupants, to things summoned for more malevolent purposes, and even to beasts that science can't yet explain, but still persist. Sorry, one more time.
You want to restart?
Yeah, let me just restart the whole thing. There are many things that go bump in the night, from the souls that stay behind in a house curious about its new occupants, to things summoned for more malevolent purposes, and even to beasts that science can't yet explain but still persist on in areas undisturbed by humans. Listen, I'm blaming my lisp for that one.
Persist is a difficult word.
Persist is wild, actually.
Word. Especially with the you rocked it. You killed
Yeah,
it.
you did great.
I said still persist, and then I was so focused on getting that, I forgot on was part of it.
Yep.
Persist on in areas undisturbed by humans. A lot of times, the latter example is usually content to maintain a healthy distance from us, not wanting to intrude in on our daily lives, but also not being shy to defend their territory if we encroach too far. But today, I have a story of something far more aggressive than the norm. Something not content with merely hanging back and observing. And something that didn't come alone. As told by the show Paranormal Witness, I give you the tale I call Hunted. The following events occurred in Palmyra, Maine in 2006. Eric and Shelley Martin moved out to Palmyra during a very difficult time in their lives. While working at the paper mill that he had been at for around 20 years, Eric injures some discs in his back as he was working on some machinery. This left him unable to work anymore. While Palmyra was definitely not the couple's first pick for a place to live, Shelley had just landed herself a new job in the area, and she wanted to be able to have a home closer to that job to make it easier to take care of Eric. Shelley found the farm advertised in a local paper and thought it would be their best bet. It was an older residence for sure, but the farm was beautiful and had a lot of property and room. The place also felt very secluded, with extremely dense woods surrounding every outside wall of the fields. Shelley's 17-year-old daughter, Chelsea, who was living with them at the time, was not as thrilled to be moving in the midst of finishing up high school. As they were moving into the house, Shelley made it very clear that she didn't want Eric keeping his extensive collection of guns inside the house. Eric comes from a long line of hunters and was proud to say that he had hunted just about everything you could in the state of Maine. Hunting was a huge hobby and passion of his, but Shelley did not like the idea of having his guns in the house. You never know what kind of accidents could occur. So, Eric's son Sean, who was grown and living at a place of his own, came out and helped Eric put a build a wooden strong box for the guns to be stored out in the barn in. Stored out in the barn. That was a weird sentence. The heavy box was stored up in the loft area in the barn, and they padlocked the doors shut. Secluded or not, they didn't want to take the chance of somebody stumbling in and taking the guns. And just like that, the family of three started to ease into life in their new home. Eric and Shelley even started a new nightly routine for themselves. Every night, as long as it wasn't too cold out, the couple would end the night by sitting together out on the front porch with a cup of coffee. On one of those nights, Shelley and Eric say that they noticed something strange at the edge of their property. Just beyond the trees, they both watched as an unexplainable white light seemed to pulsate, growing in and out, growing in intensity before shrinking back into darkness. Eric called out to his son Sean, who had been over at the house at the time. Sorry. There's that phlegm or whatever. And he could see those lights too, so they weren't just imagining it, they weren't just seeing things. they were actually there. Sean describes the lights as looking almost like a flashlight among the trees at first, but says that the more they noticed it, the more it seemed to change and move around. Was it a poacher of some kind? There was no way for someone to get a vehicle of any kind back in that area. The woods were just way too dense. Shelley says that she felt like it was 100% unnatural. They gave her the creeps. Eric and Sean figured there was only one way to find out what the source was and started off across the field towards the lights. As they neared the woods, the lights started to dissipate until they couldn't see them anymore. But still, they entered the shadowy woods in search of whatever the source would have been, or could have been. They both felt extremely unnerved as they searched through the low-hanging branches, freezing every time one of them stepped on a branch in case they could hear anything reacting to it. But nothing moved and nothing ran. All they heard was the echo of the snapping twig fade into the dark. Eric had the idea that the two of them should split up, instructing Sean to turn off his flashlight as they did. The idea was that if there was a poacher there, Sean would be able to sneak up on them. But now, Eric was on his own. And being alone in this dark forest, Eric said he felt a fear that he had never felt before while hunting. He could feel that something was out there with him, watching him. Eventually, Eric meets back up with Sean. After determining that there weren't any threats nearby, they decided to turn their lights back on and look for tracks. They found nothing, no indication that any person or animal had been there recently. Confused, they decided to head back home for the night. That's it, they decided to head back home for the night. I don't know why I said it with the inflection that there was more to come. Often on the weekends, Chelsea's boyfriend Nathan would come and stay with the family. He had recently signed up for the army and was just trying to spend as much time with her as possible. On one of those weekend visits, the young couple decides to go for a small hike with the family dogs, Jasper and Briggs, through the woods on their property, just to get some fresh air and see what the area had to offer. Winter was on the way out, and after a very bleak and gray Maine winter, it was nice to get out and enjoy the sunlight. Because the property was so remote, the dogs could run around off-leash, and of course, they ran straight for the trees. Before long, though, the dogs started running ahead of the couple with more purpose in their steps. It seems like they had caught the scent of something. The dogs eventually led the couple to an odd sight. They had stopped at the entrance of a large hole. The hole looked almost like a burrow of some sort. Rather than go straight into the ground, it tunneled downward at an angle, and most of the top of the entrance was formed from sticks and foliage found from around the forest. And the entrance was large enough for a grown man to fit through. Nathan said that it looked like it was dug carefully by hand, whether from a human or an animal. It was done very carefully and very purposefully. Chelsea starts getting a bad feeling and says that it was time for them to go, stopping Nathan, who is about to crawl into the hole to investigate. On the weekend of the Memorial Day holiday, Chelsea heads upstairs to bed after a long day. Shelley comments on the fact that it was cold enough outside to be a bit misty, but not entirely foggy. It was also abnormally quiet outside as she and Eric sat out for their nightly coffee. No sounds of the usual deer, no noises from the farm animals they took care of. Almost like the world was holding its breath. Shelley actually grabbed a flashlight and started looking in the field to see if she could see where the animals were, but the light couldn't penetrate the mist from that far. Eric starts to get a bad feeling. Maybe it was his hunter's instinct, but he could feel danger. He stood and grabbed Shelley, repeating, "We need to get in the house." He couldn't explain it, but he just knew that he had to get Shelley into the house and into safety. All of a sudden, the couple starts hearing rustling. Shelley shines her flashlight up, and just past their fence line at the edge of their yard, they see them. 3 sets of glowing eyes staring back at them, almost fluorescent, shining through the mist. Shelley suddenly hears a twig snap and turns her flashlight to see another set of eyes dart behind a tree in the side of their yard. Eric gasps, "Look, over there!" And as Shelley aims the flashlight in the direction he points, they see a tall, hairy body move quickly behind some farm equipment. That made 5. They hear these creatures start to growl and snarl on all sides, and Eric got the distinct impression that these things were mad and wanted to come at them. They watch as the original 3 sets of eyes move forward towards them. They can just make out that they are attached to tall bodies covered in dark hair. They're almost wolf-like in appearance, but wrong. Eric and Shelly rush inside and lock the door tight. While Eric keeps trying to pull Shelly away from the door, Shelly keeps trying to shine the flashlight through the windows. She wanted to look at them. She wanted this surreal experience to make sense. Eric paces around trying to think of what to do. Those things looked nothing like anything he had ever seen before in all of his hunting days. Would they even be safe in the house? He knows they'd at least be a lot safer if he had his guns in the house. The guns. I've got to get my guns, Eric says, but Shelly immediately shuts that down. She begs Eric not to go back outside. They had no idea what those things were, but they didn't look friendly by any means. Eric agrees not to, and Shelly goes up to check on the sleeping Chelsea. After shaking Chelsea awake, Shelly urges Chelsea to come to the window and look at the creatures that were still outside, like she could see them through the window. Begrudgingly, a sleepy Chelsea walks over to where her mother was motioning to the window, sees the creatures, and just says, "Cool," before trudging back over to her bed and laying back down with a quote, "Let me know what happens in the morning."
Is she a teenager?
Yes, she's
Okay.
17.
Yeah,
Okay, that
She's
tracks.
17.
Okay.
Shelly, befuddled at her daughter's indifference towards the creatures outside, looks back out to watch them. All 5 of them were now crouched in a circle. Suddenly, Shelly watches as one stands up straight on their back legs and looks right up at her. These things were massive. Downstairs, Eric tries to think of anything that he could do to protect his family. Looking outside, he sees the creatures are off a bit of ways in the field now. Would he be able to make it to the truck? Maybe if he could get it backed up to the house, they could all pile in there and get out of there. He had to make a decision. Eric unbolts the door and steps out onto the front porch. From what he could see, the creatures looked like they were a good distance away from the house. There was a good 25-30 feet from himself to the car, and he wasn't able to go very fast with his injury. Could he make it? Back upstairs, Shelly goes around making sure all the windows are shut and locked tight, trying not to think about what would happen if one of those things had somehow already made it into her house. Suddenly, it dawned on her that she hadn't heard nor seen from the dogs since the creatures had showed up. She goes through the upstairs, whispering the dogs' names, but gets no answer. She thinks she hears and feels a scurrying sound faintly from around her, but she can't pinpoint the source. Eventually, Shelly finds Jasper and Briggs hidden away in a corner of an upstairs room, cowering, something that these hunting dogs did not usually do. Outside, Eric slowly makes his way to the truck, making sure to keep an eye on the creatures in the distance the whole time. He finally makes it to the driver's side door of the truck and starts to pull out his keys. But suddenly, the overhead motion sensor light turns on right above him, bathing the small area in light. He feels caught, exposed, and he drops his keys in shock. As he leans down to retrieve his keys, he hears a growling sound coming from right behind him. Standing straight, he sees the reflection of one of the creature's faces in the window of the truck. He turns around and is now face to face with the thing. Only a few feet and an old wooden fence railing separate this beast from him. The thing places a furry, clawed hand on the railing, almost like it intended to jump it, but immediately pulls back its hand, yowling. The creature bolts away, and Eric starts limping his way back to the house, forgetting his keys entirely. Eric makes it back to the house as Shelly comes back down the stairs. She's understandably very upset that Eric went outside.
Yep.
Eric apologizes, saying he only wanted to try and protect them, and they decide to call the police. Of course, telling the police that their house was being stalked by a pack of 7 to 8 foot tall creatures that they couldn't identify went about as well as you would think. They told them to make sure that their windows were closed and that their doors were locked. They wouldn't be sending anybody out to help them. The moment that the phone call was disconnected, they knew that they were on their own. Shelly goes back upstairs to double check the windows, while Eric sits on the couch trying to think. He was frustrated that they were not only in this situation, but in this situation with no way to protect themselves. He starts thinking back to his encounter with one of the creatures just a little bit ago. What made it retreat like it did? It was obviously so ready to pounce. And that's when the idea hit him. When the thing had placed its claw on the railing of the fence, it had just crossed the barrier into the light of the overhead motion light. Was the light the reason that the creature ran away? Eric, running with that assumption, makes a decision once again. He was going to get out to that barn and at least attempt to get one of his guns. He once again unlocks the door and steps out onto the porch, not telling Shelly about his plan so as to not stress her out even more. Walking slowly and painfully, Eric approaches the garage, waving his arms out overhead. He's got to trip that light. After what felt like an eternity, the light kicks on, bathing him in its glow. But before he gets a chance to feel happy about it, Eric hears the sound of growling start up around him. Looking around, Eric can see the pack of wolf-like creatures circling him, making sure to stay just outside of the light. Eric says he felt like he was being hunted. Like this was the way they would take out a prey animal, and he was now that animal. He knew that he had to try to make it back to the house, but there was a danger that if he moved out of the light of the sensor, that the light would go out and he would lose his only protection. The amount of time that Eric had to get to the porch was very, very short, but what choice did he have? Eric leaves the light, limping as fast as he can, back to the porch. From her lookout point in Chelsea's upstairs bedroom, Shelly hears the sounds of growling and snarling closer than ever and realizes these things are right outside their house. She makes her way back down the stairs just in time to see Eric slam and lock the door behind him. She says a look of anxiety and utter fear framed his face. As she held him close, she could feel the hair stand up on the back of his neck as he tried to keep his composure. With every other option depleted, they decide to board themselves up in their bedroom. Shelly wakes up Chelsea and makes her get out of bed and join them in the room. The only thing they could think to do right now was wait for daylight, and even then, they weren't 100% certain that would even save them. And so they sat there on the bed, awake and alert. At first, an eerie and unnatural silence fell upon them, a stark contrast to the events of the night. But soon, the sound of growling, the sound of howling, the sound of scratching starts up outside their bedroom windows. Eric braced himself for anything, wondering if the end would come that night for him and his family. The noises continued until sunrise, and as the first rays of sunlight illuminated their curtains, the family was finally able to feel relief. Eric calls Sean and tells him everything. Sean, knowing that his father wouldn't lie to him about this, immediately offers to come over. When he gets there, Sean and Eric go looking for tracks and evidence of the events of that night. They found large, clawed, beast-like footprints in the mud surrounding the house that suggested that these things walked on two legs, as well as some unusually long hair caught on the fence post. Another thing that terrified them was that they found clear signs that these creatures tried to get into their house but had been unsuccessful. In particular, they found clear claw marks on the second floor roof and the door where the things seemed to try to burrow into the house. Everything pointed to one thing: that pack had been hunting them that night. This experience left Eric and Shelly so traumatized that they sold the house soon after and never looked back. They both still have no idea what they saw that night for sure, but there's no doubt in Eric's mind that they could have killed them all if given the chance.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I really like that story.
It's a good story. I really enjoyed that one a lot.
What year did this take place?
It said 2006, I'm very sure. Let me double check on that.
Okay.
Why?
Because I'm sitting here thinking, like, damn, y'all ain't take a picture or a video or...
Well, they're also an older couple, too.
Yeah, and in 2006, I get it.
Yeah, Maine in 2006. Out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's
terrifying.
Yeah, for sure. And just being out there in, like, such a isolated area, right?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's coming for you. Nobody's coming to help. Nobody's just chancing by. Like... What are your guys' thoughts on that story besides it's terrifying?
Scary.
Besides it's scary.
Should have kept the guns in the house.
Yeah.
That's what guns
At least
for.
one. At least one.
At least one. Yeah, that was my thought too. Or like in the truck. Mm-hmm. You always got to keep a pistol in the truck.
See, like, I understand her point of view, sure, But at the same time, your only daughter living with you is 17 and old enough to know better. Like, you're not living with, like, a toddler, right?
Right.
Yeah. And even if you were, keep it up.
And even if you were, like, you can keep it in a place.
You know?
Yeah, you can keep it in a place. That'd be easier. But, like, I wonder if she lets him keep the guns in the house now.
Probably.
Probably.
I don't know.
There'd be one under my pillow after that.
No, for real. My thing is, like, yeah, sure. Keep most of them in the barn. Leave one.
Yeah.
For this exact reason. I can't exactly say I blame Eric for thinking, like, he had to do what he had to do. He's trying to save his family. Like,
yeah.
But at the same time, every time, like, both times he went outside, I'm like, son of a bitch, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I get it, but also, oof.
I get it, but, because, like, you don't know. You don't know if these things are going to stay away just because you're inside the house. And from what it looked like, they did try to get in that night. Mm-hmm. And
they wouldn't have known about the light had he not gone outside.
Right, right. Which, like, that's an odd thing to me, too. Like, my first thought when I think about this, obviously, like, what is your first thought about these creatures when you hear about them? What are you thinking?
Werewolves.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Lincoln.
Yeah. Like Lincoln, werewolves. But, like, what? Because you get a lot of these, like, clues throughout the story, like, of things they found that you try to piece together. I'm assuming that burrow could have been theirs.
Yeah.
And so, like, are these just, like not necessarily werewolves, but dogmen? You know, like, this is how they just are all the time.
Down there in
and
the
maybe
burrows.
maybe they lived because it just came out of winter. Maybe they had been hibernating in some way.
Big shot dogma.
Big shot dogma? What do you mean? What's that mean?
Do you know what a dogma is?
No, I really don't. Explain it to me like
you know what a dogma is?
Explain it to me like I'm 12, B.
No, it's a song lyric.
Okay, well. Anyway. No, yeah, like, I can think that, like, maybe that was their burrow. Maybe they fucking lived there. Maybe they had been hibernating that whole time. Which, like, ugh. Like, I would also have been on the first train out. There's no way. I don't think I would have been able to stay another night.
Yeah.
For sure, like, after that. Because then, like, there's no guarantee those are not coming back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But,
I
yeah.
could stay another night if the guns were inside.
Yeah, for sure. Bring the guns inside and then we'll talk.
I'm sure they brought them inside that day, like the next day, you know.
It's very possible. Are you guys ready for some pictures? I almost said for some stories, but for some pictures?
Yes.
With my mouth being dry, my mush mouth is like on 100% right now. Okay, so this first picture I am sending you, once I find the correct group chat in my thingamajig. Here it is. This is a picture of Eric and Shelly Martin, the people who were telling the story. We did get to hear in the episode from Chelsea the daughter and Sean the son as well, but they seemed pretty removed from the actual story, so I decided to just include them. However, this next one is a shot of what the burrow kind of looked like. I can only get a shot from like the inside of the burrow looking out, like that's the guy who plays Nathan and like the dogs or whatever, but this kind of does give you an idea of what the burrow kind of looked like that they were finding, and it was pretty big.
Yeah.
Like Nathan was like crawling around like towards the in the entrance, like he could fit in it.
Damn.
This next one is a depiction from the episode of what this pack of creatures looked like in the distance to them.
See, that's terrifying. I don't like that.
Right. So that is, like, according to the show, that is what they were seeing, right? What are you thinking, B?
I'm shitting my pants.
I was like, you're looking at it and you're doing a bunch of things. I didn't know if you were able to open the picture or not. I was like, what's going on?
I keep zooming in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
No, that's freaky, right? Like,
and they all hunched together in a circle. Like,
hunched,
what were they
standing,
doing?
like,
yeah.
Fucking. All right, here's how we're gonna take these people out. Like, Jesus
That's
Christ.
what it feels like. So
that's what it feels like.
Like they had logic. Like, I mean, that's crazy.
No, for sure.
They were like sentient. That's not the word. Another
thing, and I think sentient is the word actually.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thing I was able to find, this wasn't shown in the show, but I was able to find through a little bit of research. This is Shelley's original sketch that she made of the things that she saw. So, like, there's some notes that you can see there. But this is apparently what she remembers seeing that night.
Damn. The feet are crazy.
The feet are crazy, right? However, this is about as good of a drawing I would be able to make as well. This isn't like a drawing from somebody who's like, I do art on the regular. This is someone who's like, okay, this is what I saw. I'm sketching this down as best I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Glowing eyes. Can't recall hands when upright.
Okay.
Did not notice.
Yellow-green about the eyes.
Yeah, but did not notice. What's that first sentence? Did not notice.
Blinding. I don't know. I don't know what that word is. But tail was apparently a stub. There was a stubby tail.
Yeah. I wonder if they were angry because they found their burrow.
It could be.
And maybe
it very
they smelled
much could
the
be
dogs
that,
there.
Oh, it very much could be that they left their scent there, and that's how they were able to follow it back, too. Oh, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Like, that's their territory, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, this last one that I have to you, I think, is going to be the most impactful for you guys, because this is a picture that I was able to find. This is a picture that they took of what the door looked like the night after.
Oh
Holy
my God.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Damn, that's fucking rough. Especially going from not that to that the next morning, right?
Yeah.
These doors, these are the doors that I have in my house.
Yeah?
So that is like I know how deep those scratches are to get to that color of the wood, and that is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. Well, what are your guys' thoughts on that as a whole? That's what I've got today.
That was a great story.
Yeah, it's more famously known, I found out, by the Palmyra wolves, I think, not werewolves. And we recently had a podcast mutual of ours called Dark Docent. They actually cover this, the Palmyra Wolf Pack, in episode 34 of their podcast, which came out on January 16th, so like a few weeks back, about a month ago, a little over a month ago. But yeah, so go check them out too. They might have like more in-depth stuff as well. This is just what I was able to find like through that documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, B.
You're welcome.
B sent a selfie in the group chat. Like, right here. All right, well, that's, like I said, that's what I got today. Dalia, what are you working with for this episode?
Hold on, I'm sending a selfie too.
Are you? All right, I might as well while we're
Brandon's
at it.
turn.
Hold on, you can go ahead and start. I'll just send it.
Lovely.
Okay, so I actually have one story for today, but I forgot to write an intro, so I'm just gonna wing it.
Sure.
We're gonna dive right in.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's what I do. Jump in.
Are y'all ready?
Yep.
No? All right, now I am. Go
Womp
ahead.
womp.
Okay, all right. So let's get into it. They've titled the story "My Parents' First House,"
All right.
and it's by a user called Bibliothecarius. They posted this June 15th of 2016. The country of origin was the United Kingdom,
Okay.
and the paranormal category is haunted places.
Cool.
After my brother and I were born, my parents got married and bought a very small house about 2 blocks from my dad's parents' home. This was a terrace house, just off the Uppingham Road and I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this, Leicester is what we're going to go with, which was built such that the fronts of all the houses alongside of the street formed a single wall, punctuated by side-by-side front doors. Then, side-by-side front parlor windows, with one door and the immediately adjacent window belonging to a single address. The front and rear walls of the houses, were built of brick laid in double rows, effectively an outside wall and an inside wall with perhaps 2 inches of airspace between to create a barrier against the chill of winter and to prevent moisture from seeping through. The shared quote-unquote wall on each side, however, was usually a brick wall of single thickness. This had the unfortunate effect of making everyone aware of everyone else's business. The houses in that street were old enough that the builders had distrusted newfangled indoor bathrooms. The toilet was the third of the contagious... That's not the word. The third of this... It's contagious? Is that... Do you guys know that word? We're just gonna say structures extending from the rear wall of the kitchen, but these areas could be entered only by leaving the house and walking past 2 storage rooms to get to the outdoor privy. My mother refused to move into the house until this early Victorian era prejudice had been corrected. There's a lot of words here that we don't use on a daily basis.
Well, they're British, so.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, I am not used to this.
I'm not used to
British language. Oh, sorry, there's a cardinal outside. Hi, buddy.
That's cool. Okay.
That's a male cardinal. Anyway.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
You're okay.
So, squirrel.
No, for real.
Dad hired a builder to knock down the kitchen wall into the first storage room, effectively tripling its size to a narrow eat-in kitchen, and to extend the plumbing facilities upstairs to the back bedroom above the kitchen, turning it into a light, spacious bathroom with all new chrome fittings, shiny white and mustard tiles. It was the late 70s.
Mustard tiles.
Mustard-colored fixtures, and everything Mum had wanted.
Mummy?
That room scared the hell out of me, but it was nothing to do with the decor. I hated walking toward it. I hated entering it. I hated being in it. I hated turning my back on it as I left. It was a room filled with cold tension. The problem was twofold. Though Dad had paid to update the structure and the fixtures, etc., there wasn't a lot of budget left over for additional electrical work in the rooms and areas which had not been renovated. The lights in the windowless upstairs hallway were controlled by a switch at the bottom of the stairs inside the living room and a switch at the top of the stairs outside my parents' bedroom door. The light bulbs were at the top of the stairs and at the other end of the hallway outside the bathroom door. My bedroom door was immediately adjacent to the bathroom door. If anyone left the bathroom door open to let light in, it was not an inviting sight. It had been left closed, the end of the hallway was pitch black and even less inviting. Whenever I complained about not liking the bathroom, my parents would tell me I'd gotten overactive imagination. To be fair, at that age, I was pretty scared of the monstrous disguises worn by Scooby-Doo villains. The bathroom, unlike the cartoon's bad guys, always seemed like it was watching me. As my younger brother and I grew up, we had bunk beds so we could share the bedroom above the living room. Our parents created a new rule. We could stay up a little later if we brushed our teeth and changed into our pajamas first. Once we'd been told that we had to go to bed, though, I had the responsibility for the hallway light switch. I'd wait at the top of the stairs next to the upstairs switch until my brother said that he was in bed. As the upstairs hallway was one step from the top of the stairs, I'd be standing with my right foot resting on that step. And with all the grace a clumsy 6-year-old could muster, I'd pull the light switch down with my left hand and start running toward the closed bathroom door, turn abruptly right through my open bedroom door, slam the door behind me, and clamber up the ladder to the top bunk. The privilege of being the older brother. When I'd calmed down enough, I'd use the pull cord to turn the ceiling light off so we could sleep. My parents would come upstairs to check on us about an hour later after watching Inspector Morse or Columbo. I haven't heard of either of those.
I have.
Okay.
I've heard of Columbo for sure.
Yeah.
On the last night, I took responsibility for turning off the hallway light. I had a horrible experience. The bathroom door was closed. My brother was getting into his bunk, and I had my back to the closed door of my parents' room. I knew that my parents were in the living room with both dogs, as they'd stayed on the sofa to watch TV. We'd closed the downstairs door to the staircase, and my little brother had preceded me to the bedroom. I turned off the light switch. The light, however, remained on. As I pondered this bizarre phenomenon, I realized that I was frozen in place. That's when the hands, which I could not see, grabbed my upper arms and rotated me rather firmly 90 degrees to my right, so that I was now facing the stairs. My right foot suspended in midair instead of resting on the step into the hallway, I was given an encouraging push towards the stairs. I would like to use an acceptable term like screamed, but I strongly suspect that I shrieked. That is when the light bulbs extinguished and the invisible hands let go of me. I pelted along the hallway, slammed the door shut, and I have no memory of touching any of the rungs on the ladder to my bunk. Honestly, if I'd tried to climb a ladder in that state of mind, I'd probably have twisted an ankle or broken a leg. I have no clue how I survived that ascent. My parents both showed up about 2 minutes later, it felt like a month, and they were pretty insistent that I stop shrieking because it was upsetting my brother. Them, the dogs, my budgie, the neighbors, and about half the cast of Kojak. I know now that I was not in serious jeopardy, as I was not hurled down the stairs. I was being encouraged to go away. At the time, the terror I felt made me think that whoever, or whatever it was, wanted to push me down the stairs. Over the years, I've considered various explanations which might account for the experience. I know that faulty wiring could cause an electrical short circuit, which may account for some of the phenomena, but the UK runs on 220 volts, not the 110 which America uses. 220 volts passing through my left arm, torso, and left foot would have stopped my heart while cooking my skin and muscles. My guess is that someone who had died in that back bedroom did not appreciate his or her cozy haunt being disrupted by young adults and toddlers showering, teeth brushing, flushing, and splashing about in the bubble bath. Sorry, haunt was a bad pun. I don't think it was a pun at all.
No, yeah, that's just what they say.
Yeah, what surprises me the most about this, though, was that I dreaded traveling toward the bathroom, but I do not recall having any paranormal experiences in there. The interaction, I hesitate to call it an attack or an assault, I've described here took place at the opposite end of the hallway. Oddly, I was in my late 20s and living in America when my dad admitted that the bathroom in their first house had scared him too. He had never closed his eyes in there, not even when he'd gotten shampoo in his eye while showering. I honestly couldn't believe he'd spent years telling me I was making it up as a child, but 20 years later admitting he'd felt the same fear as we sat on his back deck drinking cold beers. I was flabbergasted and furious at the same time. I don't think I've left out any pertinent details in the story, and I know there's a little to be done about the haunting 3.5 decades after the fact. However, I'm adding this narrative to the YGS Your Ghost Stories archives, and as always, I welcome discussion, questions, and alternative explanations. Thanks, everyone. Biblio.
I understand.
Real quick. Sorry. I do want to make it a thing. Haunt was, in fact, a pun, because a haunt is a word for a place that just people hang out. Like, this is my local haunt, you know what I mean?
Oh.
But also, haunt, as in ghost, it was, in fact, a pun.
That's a thing?
No, I realized that right after I said, no, that's just how they talk. And I was like, wait, no, it isn't. I know what that means. Sorry.
What were you saying?
Continue.
I forgot.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
B.
Brandon!
You should go get mad at me. Get mad at B for having fucking mustard brain.
I have ADHD. I don't know.
The last thing I said was, I welcome discussion and questions.
I don't think that's gonna
alternative explanations.
I don't think
It
that's
was
gonna
something. No.
So, okay, I have a couple things. First of all, correct. That is not enough light at the top of those stairs. That is not enough light at all. Also, why is everything pull cords? That makes it infinitely worse. It's a pull cord. Everything. He has one in his room. It's like, excuse me, sorry. He has one at the top of the stairs, a pull cord. It makes it so much worse, especially if it's like one of those old dingy. Sorry, excuse. Oh man.
Are you good, Snotty?
It's the snot in me. It recognizes the snot in you. No, but like, no, yeah, it's just, it's odd that it was all pull cords, but that was like a side fact. That is not enough light. I also noted down that like interaction was very slow and deliberate, the way he described it. And the first thing I thought when he said like a push towards the stairs, like, oh shit, that's the intention too, is down the stairs. But like, then he was like, no. He was just trying to encourage me to leave. Which, like, okay. It's still scary, though.
Mm-hmm.
Any of that jog your memory, B, at all?
Mm-mm.
Anything you want to say off the, like...
No, it was just the one point. And I don't remember. It's okay.
Damn. Come on, B.
Next time, wait. Don't blame this on B.
I will blame this on B.
Wait. No. Next time, wait.
It was 2 seconds and B forgot everything.
You know what? I'm guilty of that too. It's fine.
Anyway. Yeah, creepy encounter. I hate the fact that the dad didn't like the bathroom either and was still like, nah, you're just imagining things.
Gaslighting the kid.
Yeah, that's so shitty. Like, on one hand, I'm like, what else are you supposed to do? But, like, not that.
Not that.
You can take him seriously.
Oh, God.
Like, even if you can't do anything about it, you can take him seriously and then be like, there's nothing we can do about this, though. Mm-hmm. Like, you can just be real, you know?
Right.
Anything yet, B?
No, I think I'm ready for pictures.
All right, I've got, yeah, that's all I got for that one.
Okay, so for pictures, I have one picture. I do apologize. It's just probably what the stairs looked like to the child.
Hate that. I was picturing like kind of wooden stairs, like an open siding, but this makes more sense given the fact that it was like remodeled. You know,
it was also the 70s.
That's true.
And the 70s were big on like carpets and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Which I do love a good carpeted stair, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
They love carpet so much they put that shit in the bathroom.
I can't agree with. I don't know why they did that.
I can't do. Yeah, that's foul.
Carpeted toilets and carpeted bathrooms, like, that don't need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
My apartment in Middletown had a carpeted wall.
Really? What?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Yeah. So I had my little kitchen that you have in your apartment, your little strip kitchen.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a half wall between the little strip kitchen and the living room. And that half wall on the living room side was the same carpet that was on my living room floor, but up onto the wall.
How far? The whole
whole half wall.
Ain't no way.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I'll find a picture.
That's the
and
static
send it
wall.
later.
That's the static wall. Whenever you need to rub something against it to get some static going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of those walls that people make so that their cat can run up it. You know what I mean?
Uh-oh.
Did what?
Huh?
Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, is that the only picture you have, though?
Yes.
All right. Well, then if B has not yet remembered what they wanted to say, then I guess it's your turn for a story.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay. So the story that I want to read today is the longest story that I have, and it's a pretty long one, but I think that it's really good.
Period.
So I figure we'll go ahead and get it out of the way now. None of my other ones for this session are quite as long as this, but this is the tale of Demetrius, a friend, a coworker, and a family man.
Okay.
And I need to tell you that this was posted 13 years ago. This comment was.
Okay. Real quick, what was the comment left on again? Sorry, you probably just said it.
It says, Reddit, what's your funniest go-to story that is most requested?
Okay.
Yep. I first met Demetrius when I began working for a local department store. I was transferred to the shoe department where he was also working. He was a great worker and a chill guy to hang out with, so we formed a natural bond. I found out later that he smoked weed too, which was another thing we had in common. Though, to be honest, I probably should have known he did from the moment I met him. Demetrius was 6'3", black as the night, and had dreads that would rival Bob Marley's. I found out that he had already had multiple convictions against him for possession over the course of about 10 years, including one only a year and a half ago for distribution of over an ounce of cannabis. To top it all off, he had 2 kids. Met them a few times. They were cute. I come to work one day last February, and Demetrius is on the schedule but not in the store. I ask a coworker about where he is, and she says he hasn't been in days. We think he might have gotten arrested. I grab from my smartphone and look up our county circuit clerk, and sure enough, see charges listed against him. 2 counts each of possession and distribution of cannabis in the amount of 10 to 300 grams. My heart sank. I was sure he was going to get canned. I was bummed the whole way home from work. I pulled my car into the lot of a local grocery store and went inside for a snack. It was around 10 o'clock at night, and I'm walking around the chip aisle, and I hear a familiar voice say, "Yo!" OP's name.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it couldn't be. Sure enough, there he was in all of his glory, standing in the liquor aisle. Demetrius. "Dude, I thought you were in jail," I shouted. He chuckles and says, "So word got out, huh?" "Well, yeah, word got out. You've been gone a week." We chatted for a while, and I asked him how exactly he got out of jail. He informed me that he had been bailed out, but that they still got a warrant out for me for violating my probation. Was I even allowed to be talking to him? "Well, shit, aren't they trying to find you?" I asked. "Nah, they ain't looking for me." "Okay, Demetrius. Well, what are you gonna do?" "I'm trying to get high." Naturally, I asked him when his court date was and vowed to be there to support him. And boy, did I fulfill that promise. I told a buddy of mine about the hearing, and he immediately decided that he was going too. On the day of the trial, we got ready at his house. When his younger brother asked where we were going, we tell him. "Oh shit, that's crazy. Can I come too?" "Why the fuck not?" Not even 5 minutes later, I received 2 calls from 2 other friends wanting to go. I tell them that they can go too. I also forgot that I was supposed to meet a friend that day for coffee, so he came along with us.
Oh my god.
The younger brother called up another one of his friends to come watch the spectacle. Suddenly, 7 white dudes are going to the county courthouse to watch my buddy get canned. When we arrive at the courthouse, we go through the metal detectors, and I hear a voice that I recognize but know wasn't in the original group. I look up, and 2 more friends of mine are there. One of them was paying a speeding ticket. 9 white people. We're struggling to hold in laughter in the elevator, particularly when a disapproving old lady asked if this was some kind of party. You could say that, I guess. We step off the elevator, disperse, and I see Demetrius walk over to me, offering a handshake and a smile. I graciously accept, then a funny look comes over his face. All these people with you?"
Nah, they with you.
"Yeah, you got a lot of support today, man." We waited outside the courtroom for what seemed like an eternity. Out of the bathroom walks 2 attorneys. One douchebag, spiky-haired 20-something who looked like Ryan Seacrest, and an older gentleman who looked like he knew what he was doing. Thankfully, he ended up being the attorney for the defense. Demetrius' family steps off the elevator and the doors to the courthouse open. They all sit on the left, behind the defendant. We sit on the right. The douchebag state's attorney looks around, mutters to his partner, "What is this, his posse?" and scowls in our general direction. Everyone in the courtroom looks at this group of honkies with furrowed brows. Just then, it occurs to me that this whole damn thing looks like the courtroom scene from To Kill a Mockingbird. All the white people on the state side, with a black defendant and his family on the left. Court begins. Both sides review existing evidence, and the state submits 2 new updates. That Demetrius has had all clean screens and that he's attended every AA and drug rehabilitation meeting that he has been assigned. They make the recommendation, however, that he be sent to prison even if for a short term. Other recommendations we can make include a stay in the county jail, community service, or alternative forms of punishment such as boot camp. I shit you not, boot camp. The defense makes the case that public attitude towards cannabis is changing, that our prisons are overcrowded, and Demetrius is making a healthy trek toward recovery, so we should keep him on the course he's on right now. The judge sits back in his chair, puts his face in his hand, sighs, and is silent for what seems like an eternity. Once he looks up, he looks around and asks, "Are all these people here for you?" We squirm in our chairs. Yes, Your Honor," says Demetrius, sounding unsure of what to do. The judge nods, says, "Quite a turnout. Do you mind telling us who they are? You don't have to name names, but just a general idea of how they know you." Friends, coworkers, family, a guy he sold weed to one time, but he didn't throw that part in. The judge gives a smile and says, "Well, Demetrius, to be honest, this is a really tough call. Because on one hand, your record is so serious and you committed a felony while on probation. My natural instinct is to put you in prison. But something the defense said really struck me. You're on a good path now, and we should keep you that way. I can see that you've clearly taken good strides in recovery, and to be honest, looking at all the support you're getting from these good people here, I want you to keep this up. I'm going to give you an extension on your probation, but if I see you back in here, it's prison. Understood?" We sat in silent disbelief. Our snowball of white people coming to watch a man get sent to prison caused the whole thing to backfire. Demetrius was free, and it was partially because of us. The judge adds, "Now, I don't want you all to leave here high-fiving and saying he got off easy, because he didn't get off. I'm going to set a hearing on August 30th to check up on how you're doing, Demetrius, and of course, you can all come back too." The courtroom begins laughing. Douchebag state's attorney turns around to me and glares. As we leave the courtroom, I shake Demetrius' hand, and I ask him what he's going to do now. "I'm going to try to get my old job back." "No way in hell, Demetrius." We exit the courtroom, get into the car, and begin shouting his name through the streets of our town. "Demetrius is free!" Like magic, we shout this at two young black kids walking down the street, and they turn around and holler with glee. I'd like to think they knew.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, that's nice.
hell yeah. So, for my picture,
Sure.
there was a portion in there where they said that he had gotten caught with between 10 grams and 300 grams.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give you an idea of what that looks like.
That's a big difference.
So, this picture that I'm sending you is 150 grams of dried cannabis.
Okay.
Hey, yo!
That's 150 grams. So if he got caught with 300, that's double that.
And the thing is, they said between 10 and 300, right?
Yes.
What a fucking range.
Yes.
That's a lot of cannabis.
Yeah. Yep.
It's wild.
That'll keep you high for a while.
10 ounces isn't... 10 ounces is less than...
300, you're right.
It's... Well, no, it's not 10 ounces, 10 grams. 10 grams is... Hold on, wait, I smoke weed. Let me do quick math. An ounce is... A half ounce is 14 something.
11
grams or
90
ounces?
1192 12.
A half ounce is 14 something grams. I think it's 14.25. So that's less than a half ounce that he had.
Oh wow.
Yeah, for the 10 grams, less than half
Oh.
an ounce.
Huh.
Or half. Yeah. Anyways, you know what the fuck I'm saying.
Let's
That's a lot of weed. They
Yeah, that's wild.
So right now in our state, current laws say that I can walk around with an ounce freely.
Mm-hmm.
I can purchase 2 ounces from the cannabis store, from the dispensary, but then I got to bring it home, and I'm allowed to have 6 plants, 6 per adult, with a maximum of 12 for each household. So nowadays that
do you know what years this was?
Yeah,
You said it was 13 years ago. Yeah, okay,
13 years ago.
That's right. I remember now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a cool little story, a nice little thing that happened. Good.
Yeah.
Support your friends. Show up to support your friends, especially when it's
Yeah.
send them to jail for weed, man. Come on, it's fucking
My natural instinct is to send you to prison. What?
yeah.
So, the one time that I was in front of a judge facing jail time, I was so scared shitless because there were countless people that were there for the same offense that I was there for.
Yeah.
And he was so fucking mean to all of them. And to be honest, we kind of deserve it with the charge that we had. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got up there, he was so sweet to me. Hello, Miss Riley. How are you? Just so fucking nice to me.
Were you the only female presenting person?
Were the only white person?
No.
Okay.
No, I was not. But apparently he knew my lawyer, and I guess my lawyer had just done this new photo shoot where he was calling himself the coolest lawyer in Cincinnati or something. His whole firm had pictures taken with sunglasses and shit. I don't know.
That's insane.
But the judge saw it, thought it was cool, and he was like, "Did you know that you have the coolest lawyer in Cincinnati?"
Man was praying for some good,
Yeah.
for some happiness in his day.
Yep. But it was nice to me. I did my time. I did what I had to do, and we moved on.
All right, that's good then. Yeah, I'm glad he got off. It's a
Me
good little
too.
story.
I too like it when people get off.
I
Thanks,
also like it when... Never mind. I'm the warden of horny jail, so I got to bring it back in real quick.
Well, anyway, so that's our episode today, guys. I appreciate you hanging around. You can find us on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, but not Twitter because
Fuck Twitter!
yeah, not a huge fan of Twitter and Elon Musk and all his bullshittery. However, we're also on YouTube, and as you probably know, since you're listening to this right now, we're on any podcast platform that you can listen to. You can rate and review us on our Facebook page as well as Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you have a story that you would like us to read here, whether that be a scary story, a real paranormal experience, or a happy or funny thing that happened to you, you can send them to TPIBOTE@outlook.com. If they are a paranormal story, put that they are for Dalia in the subject line. That's Dalia, no H. And if they are happy or wholesome stories, say that they are for B.
2 E's.
2 E's.
E, like the insect.
It's not B-E-A. It's not a B. Well, guys, I think that's all we got today. So, yeah, have fun and a good rest of your day. And this podcast was based on true events.